Okay, my camera is not focusing tonight. I'm really sorry, folks. I don't get why it's not focusing. There, that's better. Okay, so this part is done. We've Mod Podged everything down, all the basic beginner layer of paper. And so we let this dry. So what I did was I went ahead and made one in preparation for this. And here it is. It's got some white edges, which is exactly why I told you to tear them off, because they don't look good. But this is going to be covered anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. And a night under the dictionary is going to flatten these right out. Now, I'll show you a technique I used after we do this page, because this gives us a chance to play with this, and it's a nice, it makes the paper, that paper is pretty flimsy in it. See, it's not very strong, and this makes it nice. And unfortunately, the Mod Podge, I'm going to start to make sure I have matte finish in the house, but the mod is a big part of my creativity and my creativity life. Now, I've been using a lot of the clear glue and Mod Mix, but that doesn't work for some collage, because it seems to actually, the little bit of water that you have to add to it seems to actually lift everything off the background paper. So for this layer I use straight Mod Podge. It's wonderful glue, oh my goodness. And then to get this effect that I showed you, this effect here, come on camera, you've been working fine for me, there we go. Okay, so this effect is what I'm going to show you how I do tonight. And you begin by, let me find a place to put that, picking out colors that you want to use for that particular piece. Now, personally, I don't like any more than 2 colors. When it gets to be more than 2 colors, considering you're putting the old broken plaster effect on it, or that's what we're going to be putting over it, then more than 2 colors can just seem like far too much. So let's do a blue, and how about a 2-tone blue? We'll do, and you use acrylic for this, not watercolor, but I'm doing, see, now the camera's doing it again. Okay, tropical blue, beautiful color blue, similar to my nails, but not as greeny. And we're using peacock blue. So we'll be using these 2 colors of glue to get the effect I got on the pink one. Okay, so all I did, and I always use my mats for this, and it's probably a really bad habit. Where is my card? You'll need an old credit card or an old gift card or something. Just any old thing. And I always use my mats, so I tend to start with the darker color, because that seems to take up the most room visually, if you know what I mean. And it's hard to know what I mean, because I have screwball descriptions sometimes. But you run your cards through the paint, and then you begin to pull it back and forth across your finished piece. If you find you've put too much color in one place, you can always wipe some of it away. That's the beauty of this particular technique. And I like it because no 2 pages ever turn out the same. Ever. And it's messy, and this is particularly fun to do if you have children or grandchildren. You're entertaining. They love this because it's kind of a cross between finger painting and actually using a tool, right? So they have a lot of fun with that. I'm looking forward to that when my doing art with my granddaughter. She's going to be a year next month, and I'm really looking forward to playing with her, in my studio and stuff. Okay, so I like how much is there now, so I'm going to leave it at that. I am going to do a tiny bit of squirting, and I'm going to be lifting some of this because it's a little dark for what I wanted, but that's the beauty of putting it over dried Mod Podge, is the fact that you can change your mind. Okay, so then we move to the lighter color blue, and again I just rope it along my desk on my cutting mat, and again I tend to pull from the outside. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check out Lori Marie Jenkins, she's a mixed media artist from Vallejo, California, and I think she's maybe around my age, maybe a little younger. She looks younger. But oh my goodness, what a fun artist she is. Fun. She just, you can tell she absolutely loves her work. I mean, it shows in everything she does, in all her vids, in her classes, from what you can see, Okay, now I'm going to go in with my card and pull in some distress lines for this, because remember, we're going for the look of an old plaster wall. And so beneath that you can get old wallpaper. I don't know if you've ever stripped a layer of wallpaper in an old house and discovered some very old and interesting wallpaper underneath it. It's an awesome feeling because the wallpaper from the old days it was heavily made because they didn't really have the technology to get, super thin paper like we do. And it just, oh yeah. Okay, so this is making me very happy. I like this. I like this a lot. The colors are, to me, fantastic, but then I love blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors. Okay, now for the outer edges, because if you'll notice, this is almost framed with that color. And in the outer edges, what I do is apply a little bit and wet my finger. So I'll put a tiny drop of this out. Just a drop, that's all you're going to need. I hope everybody is staying healthy. Keep washing those hands, folks. Apparently that's what is going to keep it healthy for us. So with a wet finger, I run it around the edge here and there and give it a bit of a frame, like that. And you define the area unless you want to cut it apart to make smaller bits, because that's definitely something fun to do, is to cut it up if you do ephemera in your journals, or if you want to make it into some of your own ephemera, it's fun. Putting things in journals that isn't just writing, that is so much fun. I love doing up my journals. They delight me. It makes me feel good when I've filled one, and I've kept my thoughts and ideas. I have idea journals too. Why are you falling? Don't fall. Be good. I keep an ideas journal, and I keep a health journal, and I keep a private, thoughts journal, and It's good to journal. It gets it out from inside. It stops anger. It can be an amazing release. Being creative and journal writing to me are two of the most amazing things you can do for yourself. And there we go. A lovely, messy surround kind of look. There we go. All right, so paper towel. I can't reach my baby wipes right now. They're right across the table. All right, so now what we do is we bring in antique white. And honestly, if you're looking for broken plaster appearance, I'm going to move this over here so it can dry without bothering me. There we go. And so then all my stuff falls. Okay, it's that kind of day. But what you need is not the stark white that acrylic has. Acrylic color can have the stark white. What I use is it's called the light antique white. Yep, the Crafters. I love Crafters acrylics for fun stuff, everyday stuff. I have some really nice acrylic paints that I use on things people ask me to do and stuff like that. But for the most part, I use the Crafters paint. And it's going to be a biatch with me now. What's going on? Okay. Okay. So we get out some antique white and pick up our handy dandy card again. And this time it's gonna bother you at first because you think you're covering up really like stuff you don't want to cover, but you've got to get that plaster effect. And make sure you knock off a lot of the excess and always pull it in a downward motion while you're going down the page. It helps to keep it looking like old peeled plaster. There we go. And you have to kind of be ruthless about covering up the blue and stuff. Like you have to really sort of be ruthless when you're looking at covering up something you previously painted, which is a good way to learn how to do that is to do overlay paintings. Paint something creative, paint something you love, and then just paint another picture over it. And you'd be amazed at how freeing that is. There we go. Like I said, sometimes you gotta be ruthless with it. You gotta. That's terrible English, Janet. You gotta. It's late. I'm tired. Actually, I'm not. I'm thoroughly enjoying working late in my home because it's very quiet. The baby's asleep, things like that. Now, you have to take a look at it and ask yourself if you've got enough. And to be honest with you, I'd like a little bit more on there. I don't feel that I've got all that I can put on there while not wrecking, the look of it or things like that. So and over here. And this, turns out, is one of my favorite ways to make backgrounds. And you can use anything you have around, like you can use, the pattern paper from Patterns or old magazines or, old books, anything you've got, tissue paper, old paper bags. It just seems like the look is better when you've got an underlay that's got some interest to it. It doesn't take over the look of the thing, but it does add some interest to it, just like the colors that you choose. Okay, I think that's about it. And that is how I get the look of old plaster. And I just love that look. I love the colors. I love how it looks. And that's how I do it, folks. So I did that. I was doing some of those today. I haven't done them in a few years, but I was doing some of those today. And so I started to play a little bit more. And what I did was, instead of painting on white Mod Podge, I put a few drops of acrylic paint, different colors, in the Mod Podge I was using. And this is how it came out. And I absolutely love that as a background for collaging. Oh, it's beautiful. I hope you can see how pretty the pink is on that. And then I did one in blue. Oh, I got some wonderful texture on there. The paper went real soft on me because I went and answered the door while it was still wet. So that's interesting, though. I love the bumps and so on. I love that. But the pink, to me, the fuchsia, is just gorgeous. And then I did a yellow. I was going for an old paper, but it didn't turn out that way. And these two were repairs afterwards, but I'm going to be cutting this up for ephemera anyway. So I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. And then I did some just straight pages and added some aging look and so on. And I'm going to use this for ephemera as well. But the color pages, I'm really happy with the way they turned out, and I'll happily use them as collage backgrounds or ephemera backgrounds. But yeah, I'm still letting them like thoroughly night dry tonight before I pick them up. There's a smaller piece of the blue that actually is flat, and it's beautiful. It turns out gorgeous. So I'm going to make more of those. But I absolutely love the way this one turned out. I'm really happy with it. Really happy. I love those colors, and I really do love the pink one. So, gender reveal, anybody? I hope that for anybody that's starting out, this helped a little bit. There's lots and lots of people teach collage on YouTube. So what I do is just the way I do things and try and show people. So yeah, have some fun. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.